come. We don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you, cause you're one and only master. Ready to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With the armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in harness. Ready to rip. Hey. And I don't care if you don't know my name now. Cause you'll hear it when my old lady goes to scream out. Sunset, sunrise, 45 to shine down. Only shine is the truth to the few in power. That's why I roll with God. Middle finger, y'all. Making trust in your clicks with your demigod. Worship to the money, your material. You'll get ripped in half, Sodom cash to Gomorrah. And if a wolf ever should come across on your path, aiming straight for your goods, make a trade to his cash, fake with the woods, replace for your trash. Nah, you can have it, sucker. Here, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey. Let's rip. Ready, rip. Praying to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey. I jump on that track. Ready to roll. Ready to rip. Ready to reach. Place my bets. Hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal. Peace with the soul. Don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in, the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up though. Don't trip. Gotta go. Take a slip. Make a pass in the low. Put it down the gas for a show. Slide a pass in the grass for the OFO. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the FOO. Cause I'm going past all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you, cause you're one and only master. Here, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey. And I don't care if you don't know my name now. Cause you'll hear it when my old lady goes to scream out. Sunset, sunrise, 45 to shine down. Only shine is the truth to the few in power. That's why I roll with God. Middle finger, y'all. Making trust in your clicks with your demigod. Worship to the money, your material. You'll get ripped in half, Sodom cash to Gomorrah. And if a wolf ever should come across on your path, aiming straight for your goods, make a trade to his cash, fake with the woods, replace for your trash. Nah, you can have it, sucker. Here, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. I'm correct. The fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indy and honest. Wearing my Honda. Strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis is on my chest. Facing as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. So we can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. You gotta keep the lights. You gotta keep the lights. Don't we always see it? It's all bright out. We are here today from another angle, from the other side. We got too many things going. Hold on. Let's just back her down. Back her down there. Look at the lights. Look at the signs, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live at the BAPS Motor Speedway. It is a Sunday fun day, a Sunday throwdown. I call it the PA Thunderbowl. To me, it looks just like Tulare. I'm just saying. It just does. Maybe not the same grippy dirt, but it is damn close. I like it. One of my favorite tracks in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, it's tied right there with Path Valley, and we know how much I care and love about Path Valley. We are here live, getting ready for the Sunday racing action. Going to be here today. We got a few high-limit drivers that are also in the building. I'm pretty sure I saw Casey Kane here. I think the track advertised for Casey Kane. Tanner Thorson is here. Dason Persley actually talked to the group there. They are, obviously, Sean over there works on the car and the 13 team, known to be running around a lot here, and talked to them about their racing year, and it seems like there's some progression that is being made with the 13 team, and it's going in the right direction. But, of course, you got your regular host of characters here. I saw Lucas Wolf roll into the building. The Macri team is here, obviously. Brock Zierfoss, Danny Dietrich, walked by him. Said, I guess we kind of said hello. It's interesting, the mood in the evening air here. But before we get going too far, we do want to give a big shout-out. We did – I hate to say it, or I love to say it. Actually, I love to say it. We're going to be talking about some interesting things that happened at the Oshweken Speedway here in just a second. Hold on, just one minute. Hold on. Having a power issue. We thought we had this power solution. Not the best time to have a power issue, but we'll figure it out. Hold on. We gotta check. Sorry. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, we had to put the prime on the screen just a little bit. We also had to put the little tag. We got the media credentials here at BAPS. Want to thank everybody for that. Sorry about the little delay there. But we do want to give a big shout out to our newest partner here on the channel. Of course, you see their logo at the bottom left of your screen, or bottom right of your screen, I do believe. And that is Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the company out of Kansas City has jumped on board here with the Chaz for the remainder of the 2025 season. Very happy to have them jump on board here to the channel, believing in what we do here. Of course, David, everybody over there apparently loves the show. They laugh at it. They get a kick out of the show. They enjoy the entertainment value. They also see how, this, style of show that we do, is funny, hilarious. And a new person may find that intriguing. We have a lot of people who come on and say that from time to time. But, of course, Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps, if you do not know who they are, you definitely should. They're a professional company out of Kansas City doing all kinds of things. That's their little about. We actually was trying to get the main site to load here. But, obviously, they got a whole list of things that they can provide you, your small business, your racetracks, of course. One of the cool things that they do here at most racetracks is they do some of these big, giant digital billboards at a lot of the racetracks around. I do believe they're involved with the one at Knoxville and the one at Huset's, just off the top of my head. But Impact Signs and Awnings doing stuff like that, but not just for those style. You don't need a video board, but signs for businesses. If you're a local business and you need some kind of, once again, signs, awnings, wraps, they do all kinds of things. Of course, you got a lot of testimonies in here. One of the testimonies I found very intriguing, Tony Stewart Racing, that was involved here on the Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps. But they do a ton of things, not just that, vehicle wraps as well. You see a lot of the different race cars, race tracks out there with,
their vehicles wrapped or things like that. But hold on, there we go. I was trying to get you some of these the wrap examples because I was looking on their site earlier. Let's see if we can click on one of them. Wraps and graphics. It's that simple. But you see, they do some of the wraps and graphics on several some race cars. Brian Brown being one of them. But you see Lucas Oil Speedway, Bass Boats, Racing Boys. So this team's very involved with the racing motorsports world. So whether you need a vehicle wrapped, whether you need a sign at your business, like we saw earlier, they got the awnings as well for more, more prioritized, generalized business senses. You could be utilizing their services as well. But Impact Signs, awnings, and wraps, they do it from little to big. They got deals with Starbucks, banks, you name it. But reach out. It's over there to Impact Signs. It's impact4800.com. Of course, you'll see their logo on the bottom right of our screen here on the show. Speaking of the show, ladies and gentlemen, there is some things to point out. We are here at the BAPS Motor Speedway. It is a Sunday racing event. Of course, that's when BAPS gets it on. Once again, we call it the PA Thunderbowl just because, when I put the scale between the two, they're almost identical. They're definitely sisters from a different era of the country. But today, 410s, 305s, all sprint cars on hand for this evening's events. Zierfoss is here. Kyle Moody's here. They were sharing all the posts that people talking about how they were going to be coming out to the event. Macri is here. A couple 305 teams here. Mama's Pizza debuting with a 410 team. I believe it's Tyler Rutherford going to be in a 410 for the first time tonight. Just a abundant of teams making their way. We're just scrolling on down. There it is. Let me make sure on the name there. Yeah, so everybody making their trip out here to BAPS Motor Speedway. Looks like a good day. Overcast, not too hot, not too muggy. And then, of course, you have some of your travelers that are coming in, the high-limit sprint car drivers. 3 that was posted and promoted here on the page. And then, of course, Ashton Torgerson and the Jacob Allen trailer, I believe I just saw roll in just a second ago. But the 3 high-limit drivers confirmed here. I believe I already saw 2 of the T-shirt trailers. Thorson, of course, Dason Persley, and Casey Kane. I actually followed Casey Kane's RV into the facility. I was like, wait, that's a big RV with a T-shirt trailer. Why does that say North Carolina? So, yeah, I put 2 and 2 together. We literally followed Casey Kane into the racing facility today. But speaking of Jacob Allen in prime, funny joke. When I was up at Oshweken, and before we get out of here, I did want to mention this for a quick second. The 410 division here is actually sponsored. I did not know they had a title sponsor, although I've been, worried about national stuff and other things. RV Wheel Drive and Performance Automotive, Inc. That is the title sponsor. At least that's what I'm told. At least that's what I'm being told by the guy who apparently owns the company in the parking lot out here. He's wanting to jump on the show. I think you've had a little too many blue moons, or you can at least give me a blue moon so that I can, join you in doing that. But one of the title sponsors, at least a supporter of the BAPS Motor Speedway here in this RV Wheel Drive and Performance Automotive. And, of course, if you can't be here, it's going to be a premier racing event, I do believe. Of course, last night, great port race. We're going to talk about that. But at the end of the day, last night was a good race at Port. Next weekend is the Weikert. Tuesday is Grandview. So you got a lot of high-limit drivers here, as we've already mentioned. Who knows, some that are going to pop up that we haven't talked about just yet. But at the end of the day, if you can't make it here, you can watch it. SprintCarUnlimited.tv is broadcasting this event tonight. So SprintCarUnlimited.tv, it is a pay-per-view per race. That makes it a little more fair for the track here in local area competition. But SprintCarUnlimited.tv. I know we've all heard about .com, but tonight it is .tv where you can watch this 2-for-1 special in a way, double sprint night here at the BAPS Motor Speedway in Pennsylvania. Going to be really interesting. But, of course, the biggest race I think we are all talking about in the Pennsylvania area is this race between Macri and Garrett Bard. It came down to the last dang second on the Speedway. Macri barely edging out Garrett Bard there for the win last night. It was right to the stripe off of turn 4. And they have this one replay up. There is a full replay on YouTube, or a full highlight video on YouTube. This one was on Facebook of just the final lap. But this final lap highlight does not do the race justice. I mean, you had instances in there where Danny Dietrich had ran down Garrett Bard, and Garrett Bard did an amazing job in traffic. Traffic did an amazing job of holding up Danny Dietrich. Danny Dietrich raced Garrett Bard respectfully, extremely respectfully. Really, really respectfully. Probably the cleanest you can race at Port Royal in heavy lap traffic. Most people would agree that this was Danny Dietrich's race without a few of the lap cars playing a factor, but it's racing. Lap cars do play a factor. Things go one way or another. That is what happened. Dietrich got held up. Bard got away. Macri got by Bard, but you could see the gap that was made up here. I mean, this is the final lap. I mean, you're looking at a full quarter of a straightaway, and Macri made up all that distance to the line. And I don't really know if Bard could have done anything differently. You know, you think last corner you need to protect the slider line a little bit, but you kind of don't want to slide yourself just in case the guy does run the top side. He's going to be able to cross underneath and get a good run off of 4 while you're sliding up to protect the slider. So I don't know if Bard really did anything wrong here. The thing is Anthony Macri has a Prime Composite Innovation body, and that's why he got this done. It cuts through the air so well and smooth. When you got Prime on your side, you just can't go wrong. I mean, look at this. I mean, it is almost dead even. Macri does edge him. I will say, heck, Garrett Bard. Right there, Bard almost still had him, but it was close. Even from that angle, it looks like it. But electronic scoring, 0.07 of a second in Macri's favor in the race last night. And what a prelude to the Weikert that's coming up this weekend here in Pennsylvania. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, how this transfers. Of course, Weikert weekend, I've been here for one of them. It's always an enjoyable time. It is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. I do believe a 3-day event. Lots of things happening out there. Of course, Indy 500, some people want to go to that. Some people don't. But I have the choice. I could go to the Indy 500 or I could go to the Weikert. I mean, I like racing. I'm sorry. I just think that this is action-packed. It is funny. You know, Port's kind of had some okay races, but not some super impressive races here to start the year. And the moment I cross the line of the border into the state coming from New York, this is the race we get. So I'm not trying to take all the credit, but why not? You know, why not? I mean, that was good. That was amazing. Let's see if we got any chatters in there. Did anybody watch that race last night? I'm curious if y'all in the actual comments. DD tried to park it on that lapper. I mean, I heard he was really upset with Mike Thompson. No relation. I mean, maybe if Mike Thompson ran better, I would say there's relation, but there is no relation between me and Mike Thompson. But it was tough. I mean, there was some lap cars that I guess there is a difference in the state of Pennsylvania. There is like a move over flag. It's not like the typical lap traffic where you got to watch where you're going type of thing or just hold your line. It's like a literal, like, here comes the leaders, get out of the way type of situation. So I don't understand really. I mean, I don't get that. But if that is actually the 411 on the situation, then, yeah, then I guess the lap cars did do something wrong. I mean, it's hard to tell where to go, what to do. You got younger racers out there, older racers, guys who are just trying to hold on to their spot, make some laps, get some experience. So I guess I get it that lap cars should get out of the way just for the simple fact that, you know, you are at the back. It's not like the pay really increases, 11th on back. Most tracks are 1 through 10 is the only time the pay actually changes, or 1 through 14 at a max. And then 15th on back is the same payout. So when you're playing a factor with those guys who are in those positions that are making hundreds or thousands of dollars in differences, I guess a move over and get out of the way situation is needed, I guess. I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Bard put on a good run. And yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I mean, even though Macri had the good run, even though Dietrich was there, when I was, listening to it as I was driving, I was hoping that Garrett Bard was going to get it done. I was hoping that Garrett Bard was going to, win the race because, it just adds another name in there that can compete. I think sometimes with the 4 or 5 real draws that PA has on a weekly basis, it wouldn't hurt for them to add a 5 or a 6. And I think they're going to have to add a 5 or a 6 by somebody out driving one of those 4 or 5 names on somewhat of a consistent basis at least once. Macri coming from 10th and doing what he did, is that good? Is that bad? I mean, it is Port Royal. So I mean, and that's Macri's, that's his house, over the last 6, 7 years, 5 years at least. So it would have. Does it look bad that Macri did what he did? I don't know. Is he on the other side? I'm not sure. So, I thought, like I said, I was cheering for Garrett Barr because I thought it would have been cool to have another guy to talk about, another guy to interview. You just won. You just outdueled Danny Dietrich. You held off Anthony Macri. That would have been awesome. I saw a lot of people on the other side of that as far as the finish. I saw a lot of people complaining about the announcer over there. Or I think it's Earl Hoon, the guy at Port Royal losing his mind. We got a fan over here shaking his head. Yes. Do you want to comment? What do you what?
Earl gets a little excited. Let's put it that way.
Earl gets a little excited. We are trying to have some fan interaction here if they want to. Although the mic, I haven't had it here. It almost flew off the table when I did that. But yeah, Earl Hooney gets a little excited. I don't mind the getting excited though. Come on, I mean. I feel like sometimes, do you really want Wayne Harper out there every week? At least I feel like, let's just say Earl Hoon is a little out there with his excitement. And then I feel like as much as he may be excited, it's like complete opposite on the other end. Like Wayne Harper is the least excited. So y'all always brag in Pennsylvania how you have a little bit of everything. You definitely fucking do. You got everything. Even when it comes to the announcer bracket, you got Earl Hoon to Wayne Harper. That's the hype of the hype to the lowest of the low or the slowest of the slow. So you got everything in PA, ladies and gentlemen. You even have Danny Dietrich. Is Danny Dietrich a safe haven? Oh, these people, they don't even know what to say. They're speechless when it comes to Danny Dietrich questions. They don't even know what to say. Apparently, Danny Dietrich was complaining about drivers not going to Selinsgrove. I think that drivers want to see how Selinsgrove's going to go first. I mean, there hasn't really been like a place you could trust as a driver, at least from the outside looking in. The getting paid part is important, but and you think somewhere getting paid to go up there over the Grove? Like under the table? Oh, in past years, they weren't getting paid. Obviously, it's a different promotional group. It's a new promotional group. They're trying to do something different up at Selinsgrove. But it's still a question mark. They don't know. Let it get a month in and run some races and survive. I think that's what Danny Dietrich's worried about is like another place surviving. Well, it might have been a bad idea to try to race against Williamsgrove on Friday nights to open up your new promotional group. That's not really a great plan. I mean, you got them. I don't know who could argue. You got one of the most historic tracks in the country racing Friday night in Pennsylvania. And you're going to try to come in as a new promotional group and run against them and hoping for success? That's usually not going to work. It usually doesn't work, especially in PA. It's old school. It's traditionalism. So there's a lot of loyalty involved in that. A lot of, this is right. Who cares what the money is? We put vinegar on our French fries and we drink Yingling. So they're not necessarily going to do what you tell them. They got issues. They're highly overindulged in sodium, and then they get along with Mennonites. I mean, how do you expect them to go to Selinsgrove instead of Williamsgrove? It just doesn't make sense to me. But regardless, Selinsgrove. It is what it is. DD will win tonight, they're saying. But look, BAPS, they wanted to have a 410 program. They do it on Sundays. They stay away from everybody. It's took a few times. How long did it take BAPS to get a good group of sprint cars to come here on a Sunday? That took some time. So Susquehanna is going to take time to work. I don't think Fridays going up against the Grove is going to work. For sprint cars, maybe if you're trying to be a late model track or something, maybe that'll work, or a 305 track. But 410 sprint cars is hard to get into. It's very Clique based here in Pennsylvania, at least in my opinion, it's very clique-based. Yeah, there's more than one clique, but there's still cliques to deal with. So I don't know how that Friday situation with Susquehanna is going to go over. 410 sprint car. Maybe y'all can afford a Thursday night track. But the other issue with Susquehanna versus a BAPS, as far as adding another track to the 410 sprint car success in this region, at least from an outside looking in, is BAPS is, 15, 20 minutes from Mechanicsburg? 10, 15 minutes from Lincoln. Not even that, probably. I mean, Susquehanna is like a solid hour from where we're sitting right now. I mean, even on a Friday, if you're a team from this side of town trying to go through the traffic and go up north, that can't be easy. So I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that goes forward if they make some adjustments. I just think it's going to be hard to be successful in that prerogative or in that perspective. You ever want to bump someone going slow in the fast lane? Imagine being a race car and you want to win. I'm not really a DD fan, but I understand. So you are talking about when he bumped the lap car and all that. I mean, Danny Dietrich gets mad, and if a situation, Jeremy Zarfa said it, if a situation happens that benefits Danny Dietrich, it don't matter what's wrong with the world. For instance, if it was the other way around last night and Danny Dietrich was able to get away from Macri due to a few lap cars there, he would have been like, man, I really like that lap car, or I want to go thank him for saving my ass. It would have been a good deal for Danny because he won the race. But if it goes the way it did last night, then he's bumping cars and mad and probably yelling at lap cars. It just depends on if it goes good for Danny or bad for Danny on how he feels about a particular topic. I think that's the problem, and I don't know if that's it's a problem. It's extremely selfish, if that makes sense. Which, if that's what y'all like, that's what y'all like. I mean, there's just extremely selfish people in the world. They're everywhere. Go look at them. I mean, look at the people selling Yingling to the public. I can't believe y'all put that beer piss in people's mouth. It's disgusting. I'm just kidding. Are you drinking Yingling? No. Now, see, he even knows. He's an older guy. He's made it to his age because he stayed away from that crap. I'm just kidding. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we did go up to Oshweken. We were going to talk about that just to give a little bit of a review on the Oshweken situation. I thought it was a really good racetrack. One of the best presentations I've seen this year. They got a lot of things on their side, of course, being a reservation up there, a nation's people reservation, 6 nations, I believe it is, 6 nations. They're able to do a lot of things on that land that other places can't. If you ever do plan to go up there, there is some things you need to know before you go to the track. One, I didn't have this problem because people are crazy and they come and find me. But there is no beer for sale in the track, and you cannot bring beer in, which is a big hitter for UPA fans if you ever plan to go up there. So basically, everybody gets wasted in the campgrounds, and then they go in with Gatorades half full of vodka. It's pathetic what they do. Them horrible people up there. Them Canadian Maple Leafs. I swear.
All drivers, mandatory drivers meeting at 5:30. And will be taking place back at the micro track scoring tower. Thank you.
I'm trying to adjust our mic here as it's starting to slip on us. Hold on just a second. I think we're halfway there. Hopefully we're good. If not, it's Danny Dietrich's fault. That's what I'm going to say. But anyways, no. Oshweken is good. I liked it a lot. In fact, it reminded me a lot of Perth because it was a really nice setup. Concrete pitting areas, painted everywhere for the pitting area. Really nice VIP section on the pit side. Grandstands all the way down the back straightaway. Grandstands down the front. I think that's the only place where it could consider growing. Obviously, it's a growing venue. The front straightaway grandstands, they're huge. They're nice. They got a press box. But maybe some suites down the top of it up there as well as it continues to grow. Of course, as it grows, it could become bigger. But I think this is going to be kind of like the World of Outlaws international destination. Unless the World of Outlaws want to start going over to the Sydney Speedway, which I've been there, Sydney International Speedway. It's a really good one, new track. We obviously have seen High Limit have established a flagpole in Perth. They went there last year. They're going again. So High Limit's claimed a international trip of a facility. Obviously, Oshweken's a little easier for y'all to make the trip to. I went over there fine. Drove right through the freaking the border patrol. They tracked me down, but they couldn't catch me. And we got away and got to Oshweken. No, I'm just kidding. No, you just give them your. I have a passport card. This is the coolest part, actually. I have my passport because I went to Australia last year. Obviously, most of y'all know that. But there's this thing when I got my passport. They're like, "Do you want a passport card?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want a passport card." And a passport card basically is like this. It's like an ID, but it's for travel only in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Bermuda. So it's not good for air travel. It's places you can only visit via vehicle or boat. So, and that was my first time to get to use this, so I was very excited. The Border Patrol agent is a big Tony Stewart fan. That's probably what got me in because, of course, we had our Tony Stewart interview here recently. So I think that's possibly why they let me go. But no, they just it's not hard to get in. It wasn't hard to get out either. You just don't bring anything or buy anything that you're going to like try to leave with, because that apparently is an issue. Apparently a lot of the outlaw teams, they told me that they had to mark down all the tires, all their equipment, all their chassis, all their wings, all their stuff that they had in their trailer. The smart teams, I was told, documented all that and made sure they had that when they went across, and then had that ready to present the U.S. government when they came back, because that's the bigger issue that the U.S. government has, is you going over the border trying to buy things and bring them back. So I heard that the best thing that the Outlaws did this time that they hadn't done before is going in a group, and apparently they were supposed to leave as a group. I don't know. It could be, there's obviously road buddies out there. And we dealt with some road buddies. Speaking about that, we had our after party. And, of course, Gravel and his buddies are there. Garrett Williamson's there. Of course, the Impact Signs and Awning Driver, which we're on the team now with him and Brian Brown and David. It's all like we're a little Illuminati group, isn't it? And y'all just don't know what's going on. But the Gravel team was upset at my helmet jokes. Oh, my. Although we planned on doing a little helmet deal, but he didn't answer my calls. I was like, well, okay, fine. Come to find out he was busy autographing people's stuff, I guess, and didn't see the calls. But anyway, they were upset. Other people were upset in the after party as well. And they were like, Chaz, why don't you go after, some of these other guys? Why you go after this guy or that guy? Why don't you go after Carson Macedo? Look what he's doing. Or when you talk about regional racing, why don't you go after like an Anthony Macri or high limit guy? Why don't you go after Courtney or some of these other guys? It's simple. It's simple, guys, on what's going on here, the differences. Obviously, one of our partners on here outside of Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps is Prime Composite Innovations. And I know by being at Clyde's shop there in Missouri that when you put a Prime body on your car, you instantly have an advantage over everybody else. And if you're in another car and you're outrunning a car with a Prime Composite Innovation machine, that's on the Shark Racing. Remember, Danny had his deal with Shark Racing. We defended Shark Racing. That's what's on the 1A and the 1S, Prime Composite Innovation bodies. That's why they're going up there and doing what they're doing. That's what Macri last night, Prime Composite Innovation body. That's how he slipped through the wind and went by everybody there, 10th to 1st. $6,300 win last night. That's how he got it done. But then we get to high limit, we get to the World of Outlaws, and somehow everybody's just outrunning these Prime Composite Innovation. I already know that these bodies are an advantage. So if these guys are outrunning them, that means they have an advantage somewhere else besides the body. So if you've noticed where the crosshairs have been, it's been on these guys who aren't running Prime. If y'all want to remove the crosshairs, all you got to do is get a Prime body. Then ain't got to worry about how you have an advantage on the track, because I already know. But if you ain't got a Prime body on, What are you doing out there with your helmet, with your wings, with your rods, with your MSD box, or with your tires? So that's the truth of the scenario. And they'd be, oh, Chaz, I can't believe you said Tyler Courtney. Oh, my God, why are you being so – you should go after him. No. The things that people were mad at Tyler Courtney for that I got whispers of and hearings of and knowings of, honestly, I would love to renege everything negative that I've ever said about Tyler Courtney. Because experience is knowledge. And I'll tell you what, just like I think 90% of the cars out here are cheating, probably 100. As far as the Tyler Courtney issues that most people may have, it's the same damn thing. He's just the only one that was the example, I guess. Because even over this past weekend, I was witnessing things that, you know who you are, you should feel very ashamed of yourself. I used to think way higher of you, sir. But not just that example, but ever since I've started paying attention to that sector of the sport, oh, buddy. Oh, if y'all only knew. So Tyler Courtney, I wish him well. I'm surprised he's not running as good as he should be winning. He should be leading points. I think he's up there battling and stuff, but still, he has a prime body on. Macri has a prime body. Anthony Macri has a prime body. Logan Shore has a prime body. Ashton Torgerson, you're going to be seeing here racing tonight, has a prime body. I know why they're winning on the racetrack. I know why Anthony Macri's beating the Outlaws last week at Williamsgrove. I know why he's nosing people out to the line. But I do not know how y'all with y'all's other bodies are doing what y'all are doing. I know that the body's an advantage, so y'all got to have an advantage somewhere else. Just saying. I've learned how this sport operates. I've learned how politics operate. I've learned how all these things operate, and I see how y'all, you may not like a track, but publicly you do. You may talk crap about this guy or that guy, but publicly you love him because he's got a sticker on his car. Okay. That's how the game is played? Well, game on. Anyway, that's my opinion. Oshweken, great racetrack. The post-race festivities or nightlife, that was very intense and interesting. I don't give a damn. You could be mad at the Chaz all you want. I'm to the point. There's a really good book out there, and I've been an example of it, honestly. The book might be based on me. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. It's actually very popular. It's a psychological book. And I'm all about psychology and history and mathematics and science. And that's why I'm religious. That's why I believe in the resurrection. But it's a really good book. And I used to kind of care about certain people liking me or not, but not anymore. The truth over everything. And hell, Prime, I'm just saying. You better keep. I know Clyde does things right over here at Prime. You better stay doing them right, Prime. You better stay, because if you do it wrong, the truth of the situation's coming out, and I'll be the messenger. I'll be the messenger, Prime. But right now, if you ain't got a Prime body on your car and you're winning big races, something's up with your race car. That's how I feel about it. Unless you have an Impact signs, awnings, and wraps logo on your car. Brian Brown, you get a pass. Although Ryan Timms almost beat him last night at Knoxville. I thought that was an amazing race. I think Ryan Timms is going to win the Knoxville Raceway Championship in the 410s this year, by the way, just to change subject. But there's a lot of good weekly racing happening out there. Of course, tonight, Houston Speedway having their events as well. But I think this is going to be a really good one. It's going to be starting here in just about an hour. I'm not sure if the broadcast is already rolling it on SprintCarUnlimited.tv. But once again, you got some high-limit guys in the building. Tanner Thorson confirmed. Dason Persley, as well as Casey Kane. Maybe able to look. There's the parking is very good here. It's all the way down the back straightaway and in 3 and 4. You got the 39 over there, the shark car. It's going to be very interesting to see. But I think there's some great local racing actually happening right now. And Knoxville's one of them. I know last night's track wasn't what everybody wanted. I heard people complaining about it, but it was still good. It was still a good race, I think, for the lead. You had Ryan Timms, like I say, he's charged there at the end. And I believe Tim's with that West River team is going to be aiming for both the Houston's and Knoxville Raceway track championships. I like Ryan Timms at Knoxville. He's already picked up a win. He showed the speed last night. If there was 5 more laps at Knoxville last evening, it would have went to Ryan Timms. Ryan Timms had the car to beat. You also had Emerson Axum there. You had Kerry Matson there. Matson got in a big flip. I believe it was Tasker Phillips who ran into him as he was flipping, and Matson got out the car mad at Phillips, which didn't make too much sense. But there was some big rolls last night at Knoxville. We're happy that everyone is okay after those incidents. But I thought the racing was pretty good. It wasn't Port Royal. Port had an amazing last night race in the main event for the 410s. If you haven't seen the full highlights or the full race, really the full race is just straight up action. I mean, there was 4 cars under a blanket at one time. Dietrich trying to track down Bard. Bard getting away from Dietrich. Macri coming around Dietrich. Then, Bard trying to hold off Macri, and it didn't work out. But I thought it was an amazing night of regional racing action between Knoxville, between Port Royal. I know NARC had their late night festivities. Of course, we want to congratulate Tanner Holmes for winning his the NARC event at Tulare Thunderbowl, the West Coast version of the Thunderbowl. Of course, we're here, in my opinion, at the East Coast version of the Thunderbowl. We are here at BAPS Motor Speedway, and it's going to be a good race tonight. But local racing, I think, is at least got the action to it this year. I think streaming's helping that out a lot. Streaming is helping that out a lot. Of course, we did go to Ransomville Friday. We'll just give a brief tap onto that. I know some people were mad at the Ransomville racetrack. I am not. I thought the Ransomville racetrack, I like technical racing. I was entertained in the qualifying segments of Ransomville more than ever because they had to shut the car down. It's kind of like this shaping a little bit, just a little bigger, but long straightaways, tight corners. It was super slick. They had to shut the car down, work the throttle to get off the corner. I thought it was really entertaining, me personally. I thought it was very technical. I do think that's the same thing could be said for Oshweken. I had some people complain saying the cars looked like they were going slow motion at Oshweken. I do think visually on camera that is an issue for the sport, but I also think that announcers, and this is why I say commentary, the presentation of the sport, it has to go up. You can make qualifying or that main event at Ransomville or Oshweken, even though it looks slow, you can make the viewing audience on streaming appreciate that style of racing. You just have to help them understand how difficult it is to sling a 900 horsepower sprint car around those tracks when they're in those conditions and what's actually happening out there on the racetrack. So I think presentation is huge. I think it's big. I think it's very important, especially in the age of streaming, where you have to understand when you're streaming these races, if you're at a track or an event, the at-home audience is almost just as important now with the streaming of today's society. So in educating new people, because you got to consider, there's new people at the track, but there's also new people at home. And even though in person everything looks fast, the streaming audience, it's not always the case. And you could have a person, for instance, at their house who is a big-time dirt fan, have a couple people over, they're partying, they're drinking, they're having to get together, the race is on. That's your opportunities as well, not just the people who have the stream, people watching with that person. So it'll be very interesting to see how people adjust going forward. I'm trying to convince Jeremy Elliott to do like a pre-race, then a post-heat race, like when they do the PA Speed Weeks here, do a pre-race before qualifying, post-qualifying pre-heat race, post-heat race pre-dash, post-dash and B-main, pre-A main, and then a post-show. I think that there's a lot of gaps in there for the streaming audience that I think could be filled with proper entertainment. That's how the football and NBA does it. There's a halftime. They go to people talking about what's going on and what to expect. Even in the quarters, the people actually commentary in the game, like Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, they're sitting there talking about what to expect in the fourth quarter. They rehash the third. This is the type of stuff I think needs to start happening in the dirt track racing world. Dirt Vision tries to do it a little bit. And there's some other gimmicks out there where they're trying to fill up dead space with something. But I think we got to look at the successful versions to see what is successful in expansion and growth. And I think those type of things with commentary and actually education to the audience on what to look for, how to look for, what's coming up. Like if you had that at Oshweken, the commentary could have explained, yeah, we look at this track, it's slowed down this much degree. Here's what's actually happening out here. These are very high horsepower cars. It's becoming a very skillful racetrack, even though the speeds are down. The difficulty to perform is so much grander than you as the audience member can understand. But to appreciate the skill and ability it took to go around Oshweken, or the skill and ability to go around Ransomville, it takes way more ability than when the track's hammered down wide open just going around the racetrack. And I think a lot of people don't know that, and those messages need to be conveyed. Every time a race is happening, it needs to be like it's the first time that a person's ever been in the track. The person who already knows, just let them sit back and drink his yin-a-ling. We're worried about the new people. At least that's my advice to the society. Anyways, we are here. We'll check the chat one more time before we get out of here. We are not doing live calls. Sorry, guys. We're not doing live calls. Let's see here. Just enough posse. What does that mean? Beautiful Speedway, Chaz. Looks a little better than Weber Valley. Yes, it's not Weber Valley. How much is the fuel? Looked at Intech. Are you coming to PA? Dirt Kings Media. We are at PA. This is the BAPS Motor Speedway. We are here for the Sunday night event here at PA. 410 and 305 sprint cars on hand. Two double sprint event. Two classes of sprint cars. We are here. Right behind me is a track in PA. It's a really bad question. Really bad question to be asking right now, Dirt Kings Media. The race is going to be here tonight, SprintCarUnlimited.tv. Am I going to be here for the Weikert? I don't know. I had some ins at the Indy 500. I don't know, though. I would rather go to Port Royal. I'd rather watch racing. I'm a race fan. Port Royal for the Weikert or Indy 500 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, yeah, there may be more high-class women with a checkbook at the Indy 500. Yeah, Kyle Larson may be there. Yeah, McLaren may be there. Yeah, Jeff Gordon may be there. Yeah, Hendrick or AJ Foyt or all these people. Yeah, they may be there, but the racing ain't there. When we got one side of the plate, Indy 500, and we got the other side of the plate, Port Royal Weikert, there's no comparison in the racing department. There's no comparison. Last year, when I went to the Indy 500, there was so much prestige and build-up. I was so excited. And then when that green flag dropped, I slowly felt a heartbreak. The three-wide start, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I sat there and looked around for a minute, waiting for a race to show up. And then about a half hour later, or no, I'm just kidding. About a half a minute later, here come some cars already spread out. Nobody's passing, no side-by-side, and they all go by, and then they disappear. Humid, obviously. The rain had came. We're sweating everywhere. I need something to get it off my mind. Half minute later, here comes a string of single-file cars. I felt like I was outside of an airport watching airplanes take off over and over. And that was it. And that was the Indy 500. Whereas if I go to the Port Royal Speedway for the Weikert on Memorial Day weekend, do we need to show you the race from last night again? This race tonight's going to be more exciting than the Indy 500. I go to racing events for racing. And oh, Chaz, it's a marathon event. You just don't like long marathons. Okay. Although our sport in dirt racing is accused for being too long and drawn out, no, we just have miniature segments of action followed by a longer segment of action in the main event. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. If I want to go to a racing event next weekend, it is anything but the Indy 500. If I want to go to a spectacle, then I'll go to Tuscarora 50. Not next weekend, but later. No, I'm just saying. Tuscarora 50, Eldora Million, both the late model and sprint car was a spectacle. Kings Royals a spectacle. Knoxville Nationals is a spectacle. Firecracker at Lernerville, I hear, is a spectacle. I'm expecting to go to that this year. There's a bunch of spectacles. Now, is the grandest spectacle I've ever been to the Indy 500? Like I said, I was really hyped up. They did a very good job in the build-up. A very good job. They led me on to believe I was going to get something special. But I didn't. I didn't. The Indy 500 is like a very attractive woman addicted to drugs. You just can't save her. It looks like it's going to be great. It looks like it's going to be good. But it's just not there. True love cannot exist. I'm just saying. I'll take a dirt track lady's personality over Indy 500. Exactly. The dirt track lady, you know, she may not be this rich, hot chick who's going to have everything, but she may have a yingling in one hand, you know, a black and mild in the other or something, you know, some vinegar and fries in the other probably. That's like the poster child of a attractive PA dirt track woman, is it not? One hand a yingling and the other hand vinegar and French fries. That is like, if I make a shirt like the Late Model Princess and call it like the Amish dirt track queen or something like that, that's the image. Yingling in one hand, vinegar and fries in the other. But hey, man, she's gonna at least enjoy a race. She's not just there to prestige it. Hell, if I want some prestige, I'll go to the Kentucky Derby, or I'll go to the Super Bowl. Anyway, and I just look at respect differently. That's my opinion. You working with Jeremy or for Jeremy tonight? No, I'm not. I am here on my own. I made the trip down here, decided to come here on my own. I was like, hey, this could be a really good, opportunity to maybe do a live show at the track, have the track in the background, do some stuff. We paid our own hotel to get down here. We paid our own gas. Links in the description if y'all want to join the support, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. But obviously with the new signage of impact signs and awnings, jumping onto the show here, that made it not as bad. So once again, if y'all have any desires or needs, not just for race cars or anything like that, but if you have a small business, anything of the sorts, they are located in Kansas City, Missouri. But Impact Signs, new sponsor, presenting sponsor here on the show. Signs, awnings, wraps. They do signs for multiple businesses, awnings for multiple businesses, and then, of course, wraps for multiple businesses. So vehicle wraps in the professional grade. And they do support the motorsports world by a large part as far as graphics and wraps and signage for sure. This is probably top of the line here with Impact Signs, awnings, and wraps. Check them out at impact4800.com. Helping the Chaz get over here to PA. Of course, Lucas Oil. Look at that Lucas Oil truck, guys. Look at that thing. Bro. Of course, Lucas Oil going to be having their big Show Me 100 next weekend. You had Ricky Thornton Jr. sweep the week, basically, at Eagle One Thursday and Saturday. You also had a really good show with the World of Outlaws. Of course, Friday, you had Tim McCreadie pick up a win. Want to give a big shout-out to Tim McCreadie for picking up that win on the one-year anniversary of his dad, Barefoot Bob McCreadie's passing. So that was huge. Of course, Bobby Pierce swept the weekend. They had one rain out. Actually, I think that was Thursday, Raceway 7. A rain out Friday at Marion Center. Saturday, Bobby Pierce won last night, the perfect sweep. And then today, I do believe the late models are at Bedford, PA. So I know that we're not really supposed to shout that. I mean, there's no supposed to or not supposed to. But there are some other races happening this evening. Of course, one of our drivers, Brant O'Banion. Oh, no, we got a Zach Rhodes shirt coming up.
All drivers, final call for the drivers meeting. Again, that will be taking place in about 5 minutes at the Market Track Scoring Tower.
We're back over here, just where
Okay.
Where's Scott at?
Okay, I'll be back there in a little while.
All right, good
Okay.
seeing you.
No problem. So we got Zach Rhodes. Zach Rhodes racing tonight, right? What number is he now?
25 SS and his brother Alan's 15. I sent you a post. This
Okay.
is the Battle of the Brothers.
The Battle of the Brothers, 25 SS and 15, you said? Okay, and 15. going to be running tonight. Once again, 305s are here. There's a bunch of them. We saw Logan Spar earlier as he was walking into the building. So a bunch of 305 drivers are here. I think the 305s are underrated here in Pennsylvania. You know, that's the one bad thing I do think PA does wrong sometimes is when a ride opens up or the opportunity comes, graduate these guys, you know. I mean, 305 drivers can be really good. Not everybody has, you know, the 65, 70,000 for a 360 or the 40 or 50, 60,000 for a good 358. You need the money to run well. You put a wing on a car. But, you know, an affordable-ish class, a tryout division, I think not just here but in the country, is the 305 sprint cars. You can put a decently competitive 305 sprint car on the track, maybe not here at Port Royal or something, but 30,000, if you do it right, budget your chassis. I mean, Carson Bowden at the Race Saver 305 Nationals at Eagle was in a 25-year-old VFR chassis outrunning the best Candidate racing engine that wasn't even 15 grand. So, I mean, he had 30,000 wrapped up in it competing in the National Series, or the Nationals at Eagle, the Nationals for the Race Saver division. So, and Carson Bowden, of course, if you've been looking at the bottom here, they're going to be doing the 305 Speed Weeks. They're going to be having coming up next week. Of course, he's one of our featured drivers, so keep an eye out for that. That's going to be on Race On this next week. And then also tonight, Brand O'Banion, another one of our featured drivers, is going to be racing at Huset's in the 410 division. The 81 car that Jack Dovers drove, Steven Snyder Jr., he is in it for the rest of the 2025 season. So we'll be updating both Brand O'Banion and Carson Bowden as some of our racing stable drivers for the rest of the year. And we may add a few more on. You never know. You never know. Reach out to us. We'll see what we can do for you. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, just approaching the hour. We are going to get out here in just a minute. We are going to look at y'all's comments real quick. Calm down. I know you're in there yelling and cussing. Once again, a big shout-out to Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps. Of course, Prime, everybody out here supportive. Everyone here at the racetrack, Colton, of course, John, who helped a lot with setting things up, and Jeremy Elliott for putting in some decent words for the Chaz. I know it's unbelievable. I know. Hopefully we can do something with this PA Speed Week Sprint Car Unlimited TV with actual commentary segments. That would be just amazing. Absolutely amazing. By the way, I think we are going to go live here post-race also. So stay tuned for that. Post-race live here with Victory Lane right here behind us. We may even have the driver come on up. I could slide over. I ain't scared. Have the driver come on up live post-race with the driver walking up the stands. That's how it could happen on Sprint Car Unlimited TV, Jeremy. We just need to set the table up a little further down. Right after the race, they interview him, and he comes on up, post-race show. Fans are screaming at him. This is how NFL, NBA, this is how successful brands do it, Jeremy. I'm just saying. This is how they do. This is how we do. This is how we ride and all that shit. Anyways, I don't want to get too mad at Jeremy. He's busy today. Indy's comments for the final time. Danny will be up. That would be funny. Danny Dietrich for the win. You think so? Somebody mentioned the beer. There's a Beer Hill Gang beer. Where did I see that? I saw that earlier. We are almost done with the pre-race show. It's time to get slammed. You know how this goes. Danny Dietrich. Appreciate, Chaz. You have to bring the entertainment. Yes, we do. T-Mac carrying on Barefoot's legend. Commercials are awesome tonight, Chaz. Thank you. I don't know. Will Danny Dietrich win it? If I was to make a pick right now, guys, I think Ashton Torgerson's going to be fast. He's got a prime body on. But another guy who I think is going to adapt to this track very quickly, who's a traveler, I'm thinking Tanner Thorson's going to surprise some people tonight. I'm also thinking somebody with a lot of local knowledge, with the wheel man, Dason Pursley. I know this is crazy. Oklahoma coming to – you already had California with Ashton Torgerson come over and win a race. And now you could potentially have two Oklahoma drivers in Pursley and Thorson come over. Of course, Thorson originally from Nevada, but in Oklahoma now. You could have them come in and could PA be pushed out of the podium tonight? I didn't even think about that. I mean, Macri's here. He's going to be tough. Danny's going to be tough. There's no doubt. But could the PA posse be pushed out of the podium here at BAPS? Bro, there's a possibility that could happen. I think Thorson likes these slinger-style tracks. I think that, you know, Persley in the 13 could be a surprise. The 1A rotates good. Austin Torgerson. It is not far-fetched to think that the posse could be pushed out of the podium here tonight at the BAPS Motor Speedway. I didn't see me saying this until when I thought about it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you want to find out, though, if you want to find out with me what's going to happen, SprintCarUnlimited.tv. It is a pay-per-view, single-viewed event, single-ticket event. It's just like coming to the racetrack and buying a ticket. Supports the track as well. Yeah, it's not $12 or whatever like Flow or $40 a month, but it's a fair ticket price to watch a great night of racing, and it doesn't just go to a company. It's fairly split. I do appreciate Jeremy and how he does that. So go over there, SprintCarUnlimited.tv, to watch the race tonight at BAPS Motor Speedway. The PA Thunderbowl, that's what I like to call it. Tight corners, long straightaways, action-packed racing. That's what I like. The only thing comparable that's coming close is Path Valley. Oh, yes, Path Valley. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm a Path Valley guy, man. Spring Run, Pennsylvania, buddy. Anyways, thanks to everybody who's helped put this on, the access here to put this together, the people tuning in, and, of course, all the fans, all Impact Signs Awnings, our new partner, the drivers there, Carson Bolden and Brand O'Banion being a part of the team, and of course, Prime. Once again, if you don't have a Prime body on and you're out there doing something special, I already know the guys with Prime on are doing something special. That means you're doing something else. Just saying. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, links in the description to join the support of the channel. We are traveling on our own dime, technically. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, whatever, in the description. Join the support of the Chaz. Get your name on the scroller down at the bottom, or become a partner just like the great people here with Prime and Impact. They know where the future's at. They know where it's coming. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like the video, comment as always, subscribe, and we will catch y'all next time, or wait, later tonight, live post-race here at the BAPS Motor Speedway. We'll see you then.
Crossing the line, caught some drama and some bullshit they didn't like, and if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fight. But this is how we ride, this is how we do.